getting your sleep dialed in, I think, is super, super important. I mean, even just the most basic, just 15 minutes of breath work, it really, really does a lot for my well-being. Too, why do the differences have to be so extreme? Like,
I know.
opposite. You have to eat only vegetables. No, you have to eat only meat.
And it's stressful because you want to do the right things for yourself.
I want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I make my salsas and my guacamoles and my pico de gallo, I don't like the chip to be salty because I want to taste the salsa and taste the guacamole. Avocado is a subtle fruit. You can't, if you have a salty chip, you can't enjoy the avocado the right way, I don't think. So,
welcome to the Collaborative Resource Hub by Wellness Provisions. We're bridging the gap between mental health, wellness, and rock and roll. I'm Amy McBride, owner of Wellness Provisions, the most badass wellness business. Hey, are you feeling a little stuck in life? I offer wellness coaching sessions. Book a session with me if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead. Sessions are available worldwide. And check this out. Wellness Provisions supplies rock and rollers with high-quality supplements. We've simplified your shopping experience and given you a trustworthy place to go where you can essentially shop blindfolded. And did you know all our Collaborative Resource Hub interviews air on YouTube as well as all major podcast platforms? Subscribe to stay in the loop. Go immerse yourself in the full Collaborative Resource Hub experience over on our website. You'll have access to helpful resources that will inspire and educate you. So let's inspire each other. If that guy did it, so can you. Last but not least, my legal disclaimer. Nothing in this interview or the Collaborative Resource Hub substitutes medical advice. Please connect with your GP if you need medical guidance.
Bill from the Descendents, how are you?
I'm doing great. Just got back from my little gym thing and workout, and I got my second round of coffee going out of my my espresso maker that Milo got for me when we finished all the recording of the last record.
Nice.
And yeah, great. I'm doing great.
So what's your gym routine? Like, do you have like a consistent thing that you do?
I do different things, but the thing I just started now, about 3 months ago, it's called Spenga, and SPENGA.
Okay.
So it's an acronym of sorts. So SP is spinning, right? Where the young fit lady yells at you to pedal faster.
Yeah.
Then it's ENG is strength training, where the young fit lady or man yells at you to lift more weights and do more burpees. And then GA is yoga, where the young fit person tells you to contort your body into positions that a 58-year-old man really can't get into anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very difficult for me. I almost feel like I'm the mascot of the little group, but it's local to me. It's just 80 yards from my house. It couldn't be closer to my house.
Oh my goodness.
It couldn't be closer, you know. And so it's convenient. And I've been going up there 3 times a week, and just it's really difficult for me. But the older I get, I feel like I'm just desperate to try to stay healthy. And then, you know, can you see my scar?
Yep.
I've had a lot of health problems and stuff, brain tumors and all that. We can get into all that, I'm sure. But so I'm really just trying to fight atrophy, old age, you know.
Do you feel a difference when you're exercising, you know, and you've got your regular routine and you're going 3 times a week? Do you feel better? Do you have more energy, like more limber and stuff?
I definitely do those things. And also I'm going to throw drumming right into that category. I do those things because they make me feel better. I mean, my psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would not be a very pleasant person to be around had I not found drumming as an outlet for, I don't know, frustration, angst, pent up, misdirected things.
Yeah, just a lot of emotion.
Yeah, so I feel like it's good to let it all out. I try to do those things and do my stretching every day. I think it's good. And then you always sleep better when you've done some exertion and some stretching. And because none of us none of us do that anymore. We're not real humans anymore. We're not Homo sapiens. We sit and we type. That's what we all do. I mean, most of us, we sit and we type. We don't use our hands for anything. And there's just so many unfulfilling days. Oh, honey, what did you do at work today? Well, I typed. It's not like, whoa, I went out and I got us some food in the jungle. I brought us food. Here, let's eat this food I got.
Yeah.
We're kind of like not real humans anymore. We're like human light. So I think it's good to just get the heart up and get yourself going, get the blood going every day. I think it's just a great thing.
Yeah. And that seems like with drumming too. I mean, that's like good cardio,
Depending on how you play, in the way that I play, it is very, very good. Very good. My heart rate gets way up there for, up to almost 2 hours at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very good. In fact, so when I had that pulmonary embolism that came up from my leg, that huge blood clot, and normally what those do is when they come up from your leg, they slam into your heart, and then that's the end of it. You die.
Right.
But somehow my heart was strong enough to push the blood clot through, but then it ended up lodging in my lungs, which was another thing. I had to end up having an open lung surgery in order to get the blood clot out of there because it never dissolved.
Right.
But yeah, so I think they speculate that from just so many years of playing drums, my heart was pretty tough, and it just pushed that clot through.
That's so badass. What kind of stuff do you do on a regular basis to help just balance stress levels?
I've always done my little stretches. They're not really yoga poses, but I learned them out of a yoga book. So long time ago, I started getting hives when I was like 19.
Okay.
Remember, it was when I was in Black Flag. I started getting hives. And so our bass player, Kira, she bought me this little used yoga book at the used bookstore when we were in England. And she says, I'm going to read the book to you and help you get into these stretches. So she would sit and I would be on the ground, and she would say, okay, do this, do that. And I learned all these yoga stretches, and then I never got hives again after that. It was so cool. It was so cool. The yoga's just doing the stretches repaired my hives. And sometimes I'd get a hive up around my eye, and then my eye would shut.
Yeah.
Or my lips, I would look like a mongoloid or whatever you call. I don't know what I'm saying, but so those simple little yoga stretches, the real basic ones. I mean, the first 5 things you'd learn are really just the same thing as what we would used to call morning calisthenics. Touch the sky, touch your toes.
Yeah.
Those little things. They're enough to ward off the evil spirits.
Well, so when you do the stretches, how long do you do it for? Like a certain amount of time, or?
It kind of depends on how much time I have, but I think I like 20 minutes.
Okay.
I like 20 minutes. It seems nice.
Yeah.
But so my daily stuff is that, and then it's either like a long, a practice session where I'm doing the drumming, vigorously for an hour or two, or else, some kind of exercise. Like I have stuff in my basement too. I've got the elastic bands and the dumbbells, and I got a yoga ball. I got a bicycle, exercise bike, and a treadmill. One of my favorites is to use the yoga ball to stretch. Like I lay back on the yoga ball and like, oh
yeah,
like, oh yeah,
yeah,
and it stretches out my arms and everything, and it's real. That's a good one too, the yoga ball.
Yeah, just take a deep breath.
The pool is great because there's a pool in my neighborhood, and you can stretch things in the pool that even if you're not in good enough shape to do those stretches when you're under the influence of gravity, you can stretch in the pool, man. You stretch your back out. You ever notice how when you come home from swimming, you're just so relaxed and you just want to go to sleep because you got rid of so much tension.
Yeah, I know. And they always say that swimming is like one of the best exercises because there's no wear and tear on your joints. You're in the water, but I mean, you get so much benefit from that movement in there.
And so when it's the summer, I take advantage of this little neighborhood pool. But then in the winter, I don't really have access to a pool.
Right.
And when I lived in Hermosa Beach, for my first 30 years, I lived out on the beach, and you just go in the water and fighting the waves too. Or if you have a surfboard too, those are hard. You lose them and they fly away from you, and you got to go get them, and the waves are pounding on you. It's all good stuff. It keeps you happy and healthy.
That's right. Man, nature is so good for mental health. Do you go out like into the mountains at all and go hiking at all?
When we first moved to Colorado, I did a lot of that, backpacking, fly fishing, hiking. And then I kind of quit. I could say, well, once I had kids, there wasn't enough time, but that's not the truth. The truth is I just stopped doing it. But then during COVID, I picked it back up again. Only this time I had a hiking partner, which is my son. Well, me and Miles have gone on several hikes and backpacking trips, car camping, hiking, fishing, and yeah. So I'm having a renaissance of enjoying the outdoors here in Colorado.
Yeah, and sharing it with him, which is special.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than that. Or the other thing is during COVID. Right. Okay. So about 2 years ago, he picked up the guitar and started playing. So during COVID, since my band couldn't come over to practice and his band couldn't come over to practice, he and I would play all the time. We worked up a bunch of songs together, and he would play with me every day. And even when we found out I had shows getting booked, when we thought COVID was over with, then he started playing the Descendents songs with me. He learned 20 of them. So he would rep me on those, because for me at 58, I have to actually put in a lot of work just to get those eighth notes and 16th notes all up to all that stuff. It's it's hard. It's not. When we wrote those songs and when we kind of developed our style, I was a teenager. Now I'm 58. It's difficult, but I enjoy the challenge of it. I mean, it's probably one of the things that keeps me going and keeps me, okay, you got to be sharp, don't drink too much tonight. Try not to eat pizza, try not to eat crappy food, and just try to do your best. Yep.
Yeah. So do you have, what is, I guess, food or ingredients, like, is healthy eating important to you?
Yeah, it really is. But I have to say that I'm very confused about what the right nutritional path is. So, in religion, let's just say there's 500 different religions. Okay, whatever. I think the only single thing they can agree on is do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I think that's the only thing they all agree on. And other than that, they're all going in different directions, right? I feel like it's the same way with nutrition. It's like the only possible thing they can all agree on is maybe spinach.
And drink water.
And water and broccoli. And even I just read a study against broccoli the other day. So I mean, I honestly don't, and I'm not saying, well, I don't know what to eat, so I'll eat, birthday cake all day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm not sure. In my life, I've been through, in 1983, I was operating as a vegan.
Okay.
For a while. And then I did that again in maybe 1988. And I've done it a few times in the last 10 years. I've gone through periods where I rolled as a vegan, or maybe a vegan with a little bit of seafood thrown in. I've also rolled as I tried to do some of the Atkins influenced stuff, like real low, simple carbohydrate, real high protein and fat.
Yep.
I don't know. I just honestly don't know. I think right now, what I've been trying to do now is eat. I did the most basic thing I could think of. I Googled what are the 10 healthiest vegetables. Okay. So I go get those 10 vegetables.
Okay.
And I put eggs and some kind of meat with them, and I cook them, and I make enough for the whole week. I make a huge pot
Yeah.
And then I nuke it all week. And then I start over at the end of the week. I know that sounds boring and like, where's the chili cheeseburger? But that's what I've been doing for the last several years, is just, and then, so I think, I mean, if meat's bad for me, then that plan's no good.
Right. Well, how do you feel eating like that?
I feel like it's the best thing for me, but it's weird. I feel like I roll as a vegetarian or vegan for a while. And then after I've been doing it for a while, something in my body tells me, I don't know, maybe you need some kind of fish or animal protein. And then I swing back the other way. I mean, ideally, I like the idea of first of all, not corporate meat, not, not those horrible, those slaughterhouse things. Like, it's funny, Temple Grandin, she lives here in Fort Collins. You know Temple Grandin?
No, who's that?
Well, she was trying to revolutionize the ranches and the slaughterhouses. There's a movie about it. It's called Temple Grandin. And she was trying to make that all be humane, of not like, hey, I'm not trying to make everybody a vegetarian, but really they're just being terrified and tortured their whole life. And I mean, I don't think any rational thinking person would want to be part of that.
Right.
But at the same time, it seems like my body tells me like, it's the vegetables aren't all, they're not, it's not the whole picture. Yeah. But I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah. I mean, like when I field these questions with people, because I do wellness coaching too. So like, this is literally something that I would talk about with someone, is like, think about how you feel. Like, do you have brain fog? Is your thinking sharper? How are your energy levels? How are your joints feeling? What's your digestive health look like? Like regularity in the bathroom. And, do you have like stomach aches? All of that kind of stuff is what you would want to kind of consider. I personally, and I'll say this, I think almost every single person I've interviewed, and I think almost every person that is part of Wellness Provisions, they're all vegan. There's a lot of vegans. But I think listening to your body, because some people might do really well with like raw vegetables and some people need them cooked, for example. It just depends on your body. But I think like middle of the road, a lot of vegetables, really good quality, healthy fats, and then some protein from like regenerative farms, the farms that are really raising animals well, and then putting nutrients back into the soil. So it's not a climate issue. That kind of stuff, in my personal opinion, I think is really good. And eggs, pastured eggs from like chickens that literally are outside in the grass.
One of my colleagues at the blasting room, that's just my recording studio. Yeah. He has 40 chickens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he treats them well. I mean, yeah.
They get
he's the world's last nice person. He's the nicest person I've ever met in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
His name's Andrew Berlin. Yeah.
Cool. Good for Andrew. Does his chickens get to eat a lot of like bugs and, worms and stuff?
I honestly don't know that part of it. I've never asked him.
How yellow or orange are the egg yolks? Because I'm sure he's given you eggs.
Like maybe vibrant. More orange.
Yeah,
maybe good. More orange. Now that you mention it, more orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't always get them from him, but it's a good place, because I see him at work a lot, up at the studio.
Yeah. But that's a good indicator for like the quality of your eggs, and therefore the quality of the, the chicken and their life is how orange are the yolks.
Yeah, more orange, because I remember the first time I cracked one open, I was like, is this right? And he's like, yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on nutrition in a pistachio-sized nutshell.
Or then I even read a thing saying the kale's not good. It's horrible if it's raw. And if you cook it, then it's okay.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, if
kale's not good for you, then why even try? I mean, why not just go to McDonald's? Like, what the hell? Why can't anybody agree? Why can't there be a definitive thing of like, look, this stuff has been proven to be healthy? Why does there have to be, why does it have to be so why do the differences have to be so extreme? Like,
I know.
opposite. You have to eat only vegetables. No, you have to eat only meat.
And it's stressful because you want to do the right things for
I
yourself.
want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always for like everything. Yeah. There's two sides to everything. But then it's like for the kale studies, was it people with like thyroid issues, or was the kale organic, or was it pesticides? And, there's so many variables. And then I just block out most of that stuff. And I'm like, how do I feel eating this? That's all I care about.
That seems to be kind of where I'm at. Yeah. 2 years ago, I just remember I just was eating just like only vegetables. And I'm not really like, the times when I've vegetarian or vegan, I'm not what I call a junk food vegan. So you have your potato chip vegans. Yeah. You have your vegans that actually don't like vegetables, French fry vegans, yeah. French fry, or all with all the fake meat stuff. I love vegetables. So if I feel like, okay, I love vegetables and supposedly my body's craving meat. Okay, that's what I'll eat. Great. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's your favorite, or maybe top 2 favorite vegetables? If you could only eat those.
Well, to maybe get a balance of whatever, I would go with I would have to go with spinach and sweet potato.
Nice.
Because you kind of, if you don't have any starch at all, you're not happy about that.
Exactly.
So when that thing I make, that big thing I make, one of the 10 is sweet potato.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you had Japanese sweet potatoes before?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
I like to buy my things at like the normal grocery store. Like, okay. I avoid Whole Foods like the plague. It's just, I can't. It's weird that we have like, okay, this is the grocery store for the rich people, and then this is the other grocery store. So I just don't. It seems horrible to me that's how our life is.
Yeah, well, and plus, because
where do you get those? Where do you get those kind?
I've only found them at Whole Foods, but I don't go to a lot of other like normal like I don't know, whatever chains, we're all reaching.
Kroger or whatever, yeah, Safeway.
Yeah. But I worked for Whole Foods for 11 years. They kind of like, that was starting in like 2003. So long, 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
So they were still a better company then. And I can't even I don't even like going in there now with since Amazon's takeover, and it's just like, it is a weird place now. I don't like it.
Oh, how do you think it changed?
It seems so much more corporate, I guess you could say, so much more corporate. And I feel like the shoppers matter less, and the product quality has, I think, gone down in some areas. And there's so many Amazon pickers here that I don't even have space to buy things off the shelf. There's just employees.
Oh, everywhere. What town are you in?
I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. So.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Amazon pickers. Oh, I see. Right. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah, because they do all the Amazon Whole Foods, delivery stuff.
I guess there's two things I like to get there. One is they have those unsalted tortilla chips. Because when I make my salsas and my guacamoles and my pico de gallo, I don't like the chip to be salty because I want to taste the salsa and taste the guacamole. Avocado is a subtle fruit. If you have a salty chip, you can't enjoy the avocado the right way, I don't think. So I like to get those chips there. And then also, if I can't find any avocados in town that are decent, they always have the good avocados. But other than that, I try not to go there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Here's an advert in less than 20 seconds. Did you know that Wellness Provisions offers one-on-one wellness sessions? Yep. So if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead in life, but feeling a little stuck, then book a session and let's get you unstuck. Now back to the interview.
Do you do any kind of meditation or anything like that?
in the last like 2-3 years, I've been kind of experimenting with some of that. I have to say that I haven't had great success with it. I haven't go- gotten to these states that I feel like some people do, maybe.
Mhm.
But I mean, even just the most basic, just 15 minutes of breath work, it really, really does a lot for my well-being. And I even noticed if I do just a little short thing like that, the breath work, sometimes the lyrics seem to come easier or make more sense to me. So I guess what I've been doing is maybe it's some derivative of kind of Buddhism based things.
Yeah.
I always say like if there was a gun to my head and I had to pick a religion, it would be Buddhism.
Yeah.
But
Why? Why is Buddhism important to you?
oh, I don't know. I guess. Well, my favorite book is Siddhartha,
Okay.
and I just want to be the ferryman in Siddhartha. Do you know the ferryman in Siddhartha?
I just know a little bit about the book.
I want to be the ferryman in Siddhartha. That's kind of my yeah. It seems to make good sense to me. My mom studied every kind of religion: Hinduism, Rastafarian, Christianity, Catholicism, weird like Scientology, weird shit. She studied all of them. She had a whole room full of bookshelves with religion books, a lot of which I have them now.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's hard because I don't really believe in God. I believe in sort of just the universe. And I guess Buddhism seems the closest to all of that.
Yeah.
And then
Because
I
it
guess
seems
some of
so.
the things, so some of the meditation is like, they call it just sitting, like
Uh-huh.
the Zen, is that what the Zen Buddhists call it, or the Zazen?
I think
Zazen?
so. Uh-huh.
Maybe those sorts of things is what I try to do, but I'm not great at it. I wouldn't call, I'm not a pro meditator. I'm a novice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems
Well,
to help though. If I get overwhelmed, I just go away, and I just breathe for a while, and then it's like, yep, good, all good, all good.
yeah, that's awesome. So you do employ like withdrawing yourself from a situation and breath work if you're feeling like at your limit.
Or even I have this little app. It's from Sam Harris, and the app's called Waking Up, and he's even teaches how to just do it while you're in the situation. Like you could be just talking to someone that's pissing you off, and so you do this little box breath thing, like up for 4 counts, and then hold it for 4 counts, and then out for 4. So you can just do that in combat. You can just do it right then, and I love that stuff because it's, you notice as soon as you get stressed, you start breathing shallow, and so it's just you just can remember to just breathe properly. And also, a lot of people don't breathe fully because they're vain and they don't want their belly sticking out. It's no. You know it's true. People
Yeah.
don't want to take full breaths because they don't want their belly to pop out. I like to get big breaths,
Yeah.
huge breaths, and let them out, and then it's like, yeah, I'm good again. Yay.
Yeah, it's true. And that's why like breathwork practice, like, even if it's like just a few times a week, if you work on like box breath, then when you're in that heightened state, it's in your back pocket and you can just call on it like that. So it's not, it just becomes like second nature.
You just nailed it. That you just said it how I wish I had said it. Yeah.
Do you, let's see, what else do I want to ask you? How do you overcome adversity or like rejection? Is there anything that you kind of employ for that?
Well, whatever half-assed little career I've managed to make for myself out of basically punk rock, I definitely wasn't a product of me having geniuses in my family. Whatever I've gotten from the sweat of my brow. So I mean, it has been adversity. I'm not gifted in any way that I know of. So it's just been, I've just worked
Yeah. Okay.
very hard. I'm very persistent, and rejection I don't do well. then I hide, or I wallow and try to make the person that rejected me. I try to make them a villain. Um, yeah, I'm not good with rejection, but sometimes those are. Then when I get the good songs, a lot of the really popular Descendents songs, or all songs, are ones where I was rejected and I used it to write a song. Unfortunately, a lot of times this can be like me browbeating the other person or judging them. And I guess I try not to do that anymore now that I'm older.
Yeah.
But those were how I dealt with rejection. Right now, I think I deal with it with all the stuff we talked about before: the drumming, the exercise, the stretches, the breathing. That can pretty much save me from almost anything, unless I was, like, say, starving to death, or there were people with guns coming to get me. It wouldn't save me from that, but
Right.
other than that.
That's awesome. It keeps you that level. Good. I wanted to ask, when you do your stretching, do you focus on breathing when you're stretching? Does your head kind of empty out?
Yes. Yeah, long, slow breaths. I'm becoming better and better. What's your resting heart rate?
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Mine's 44.
That seems pretty low.
Yeah. When I'm doing the yoga, or at night when I'm sleeping, man, I draw those breaths out to where it's like 3 breaths in a minute, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I really like that. I've been told that that's very, very good for you to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm getting better at that. Yes.
I tried like a 10 count box breath, and I'm not there yet. That was hard. I stick to a 4 count.
Well, but you can't just do that, like, go, I'm going to do it now.
I know, and I did.
Slow yourself down over like the course of an hour.
Yeah.
And even I do it, I'm laying in bed. I do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm this close to going to sleep, and then I'm like, okay, now I got you. Now we're gonna do the real slow breaths. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so because I was thinking how your hives, that kind of went away, and I was wondering, I mean, the stretching is good, but you were tapping into your parasympathetic nervous system. So it was like you were just relaxing. And if the hives were like a stress response, then that's why that would have worked, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, now that I'm older and I look back on that period in my life, I know exactly what the stressor was. So it was a specific stressor.
Okay.
That I was unable to alter or change. I was unable to do anything about it. It just kind of was, and I had to just accept it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was stress. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's your do you have a favorite quote or multiple quotes that you want to share?
Okay. I just was helping my son repair his guitar yesterday, and the one came to mind. We didn't have quite the right materials we need, or tools to do it. And I said to my son, the true test of a person's character is their ability to make do. Unfortunately, I don't know who said that.
Okay.
But yeah, the true test of a person's character is their ability to make do.
Yeah.
So what do? We cut one of his socks and put it in there to make room. Like, yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
They didn't used to have hardware stores, they didn't used to have radial saws. So yeah.
Yeah, you figure it out, you make it work.
Yeah.
That's good. So the tagline for my business is delay dying. So I like to ask people, if you could kind of give advice or tips to someone on how to delay dying, or in other words, live just happier and healthier, what would you say?
Oh yeah. Okay. You got to get your sleep dialed in, and that's a whole thing. I mean, you want to look up sleep and start experimenting with different things. How late in the day do you do caffeine? What about drinking too much? It'll mess your sleep up. What's your environment like in your room? Are there lights flashing? Is your phone texting? The silent part of it and the pitch black part of it, all those things. And would you go to sleep in a state of mind where you're ready to go to sleep? getting your sleep dialed in, I think, is super, super important.
Yeah.
Obviously, your nutrition, you don't want to be eating things that are destroying your body. You want to be building yourself up. And then I think the third one is the one that I have the most trouble with, but I think it's ultimately very important, is to keep yourself in a sort of a caloric restriction. Like maybe every time you eat, probably eat only 2/3 of what you would have eaten.
Uh-huh.
The caloric restriction, it just makes that, look at this way, you only have so many lung breaths, so many heartbeats in your life. You only have so many times you can poop, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So if every meal isn't Thanksgiving, then
Right.
you're just putting your body through a lot less. And admittedly, I have struggled with overweight my entire life, right? So it is something that I'm not really, I have trouble with it the way that people, the way that someone might have trouble with liquor or drugs. I'm a compulsive eater, so I do the best I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, sleep, nutrition, and exercise. Exercise, just keep everything moving. They say use it or lose it, right? Go on walks. Walking is something. I think Homo sapien evolved to walk 20, 30 miles a day.
Yeah.
What is this 10,000 steps? That's nothing. If you have a job, say stocking the shelves at Target, you get 20,000 steps every day. Anyone that's doing a real job, doing something real in the world, they're walking 10 miles a day. How many miles a day are you walking, or me?
Right.
So I think walking is a really big thing too. And try not to, whatever's causing you stress in your life, try to figure out a way to reduce it or eliminate it. Obviously, we can't live without stress. There's some stress that we can eliminate. We have to face it. Sometimes it's that making that hard decision, selling the big house and getting a smaller apartment, or, breaking up with the toxic person, or whatever it is, supporting your adult dependent children who are living in your house with you, and whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Getting rid of those things. I think those are the things that'll help us live longer.
Amazing. That was like awesome. Have you ever done intermittent fasting?
I was very, very early to the Master Cleanser game.
All right.
I did the Master Cleanser in 1998.
Nice.
And I did it in 2000 for 19 days.
Shit.
Yeah. So I have a lot of experience with that, but it's one of the sad realities of Bill is, so I did the Master Cleanser for 19 days and I lost 35 pounds. So that's when my wedding was, my honeymoon. I wanted to be all handsome for the honeymoon pictures, for the photos,
yeah.
which we just took them ourselves with a camera. 6 months later, I had gained it all back. What I try to do just every day is I try to not eat after 7, and then not eat until 12 or 1.
Cool.
So I get my like 16, 18 hours in each day.
Yeah.
And that I think is good. I lately I haven't been skipping any days. Long story short was when years ago I was struggling with diabetes, and they put this thing into my head about how you don't want to go a long time ever without eating, but I don't know. I kind of want to do the Master Cleanser again, because I love the way that made me feel, the way it changes your brain. And then you feel like, remember when you were a kid and you got new sneakers and then you felt like you had little springs in your feet? When I do the Master Cleanser by like day 6 or day 7, I feel like, whoa, man, I could run really fast. Like I'm Superman. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, your body needs to, if you're always digesting food, you're using so much energy there. And if you can let that energy go to like being reparative for your body and like healing and like, it makes a big difference.
What do you do for intermittent fasting?
I don't like claim to stick to that really at all, but I usually stop eating around usually like 7 or 8. And then in the morning I make a hot chocolate with bone broth. It's this dehydrated bone broth powder.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like meat.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then I don't eat for till usually like 12 or 1. So I break the fast.
You're kind of on a similar program to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually in the morning is when I do my serious water intake. I have this big cup, this huge cup. That was like a souvenir cup from, Disneyland or similar.
Yeah.
And I try to get 2 of those down before I've even had any coffee. And then if I never drink any more water the whole rest of the day, I know I'm covered.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask you too, was I guess, because, obviously you like coffee, and sort of like, when do you start cutting back your caffeine just for you personally to be able to sleep well? Like, what have you noticed with that? And then I was going to ask if you hydrate with water before the caffeine.
Yeah, I drink tons of water. Water's the best thing. Plus, if you let's say I might like a couple drinks in the evening, right? Water. If you drink plenty of water, you never ever get a hangover, no matter what. So it's really great. Water's great. And with the coffee, so I struggle with the coffee because the older I get, when we have shows and even when we have rehearsals, I have to, or it seems to feel as though I have to have, say, a minimum of 800 milligrams of caffeine.
Okay.
So we're talking like four 16-ounce coffees, or it could be like 8 espresso, that kind of thing. Just to get, because when they see, everybody expects that. They expect that from me.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder. So I have to be super, right?
Yeah.
But then obviously that ruins my sleep. So when I'm not on tour, I'm on a weaning down. Like today this is my second cup, but since we haven't been on tour, I wanted to kind of be in an animated state for this because I thought it would make it funner. But when we're not on tour, I try to just have one espresso, or maybe 2 espressos or 1 coffee, and leave it at that. Because then when I need it for the shows, it'll kick in. It'll be like, yep, I'm only 20. I'm 20. I'm 20. No, I'm 19. I'm 18. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you ever get, like, after all the caffeine though, does it like amp you up? Do you get like that kind of, like the jitters and all that kind of stuff? Does it mess
all of that stuff? Yeah.
Have you heard of mushroom coffee?
My wife drinks it every day, and I've tried it a few times. I think my caffeine needs for drumming are, far beyond what that could provide.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have these, they're called Java Stim, like JAVASTIM. So like Java Stimulate, Java Stim. Mm-hmm. And there are these pills that, like, the CrossFitter people and weightlifter people, they take them before they weightlift. So they're caffeine with a couple other like things in there, amino acids, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're what are they, 230 milligrams each? That seems to be a cleaner high than coffee.
Okay.
So I mean, I've experimented with those, even though somewhere in the back of my mind, I still hear my dad saying, well, son, drugs will kill you, right? But I mean, caffeine in coffee is no different than caffeine in a pill. It's, it's not, one isn't a drug and one not a drug. They're both a drug.
Yeah.
I mean, Coca-Cola is a drug, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But so sometimes I mess with those when I'm desperate, because then on tour you get erratic sleep, right? And then because you had so much caffeine, you get more erratic sleep. So I get into this cycle. So sometimes, like, I'll fill up my thermos with espressos, just fill the whole thermos with espresso, and then have 2 of those Java Stims, and then I can get it out there,
Yeah.
I can get them out, because it makes people happy when we're all the way we, they like it. It feels good.
Right.
People happy. I want them to be, happy when, I went to see them, boy, they're getting old. I don't want that.
Because I was going to say to you, so I sell supplements, and so there's 2 things that you could I can send you the links too if you're just curious to look into it.
I am, because I'd love to not be so addicted and addled.
Yeah. So there's two things that are caffeine with an ingredient or two that help to balance your nervous system so that you don't have that like
Jitter.
Yeah. So one of it's a caffeine pill. It's called Smart Caffeine from a company that does a lot with the core of their line is blends that help to boost your body's natural neurotransmitter production. So they have like a serotonin one, a dopamine, they have different ones, but they have this product with the caffeine, and there's also theanine in it. So L-theanine, which is very calming and relaxing. So they've got the milligram right so that you have the caffeine, but it's a very gentle, like it's not, you don't have the jitters after.
Oh, okay. I would like those links.
Yeah.
And then that just made me think of another thing is what do you know about kava kava?
Yeah, so kava, I mean, for a lot of people, it helps. I mean, everyone's body responds differently to herbs, right? But it's in a lot of the calming, the calming blends and stuff like that. And you can take it by itself as well.
So I've read a lot about it or listened to a podcast where the guy that kind of invented bulletproof coffee, he didn't invent it, but he coined it.
Yeah.
I listened to his podcast, and he had a kava kava manufacturer on there, and I started reading about it. So I got some in these sublingual droppers, but I swear that it does no thing to me. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, whoa, what's that? No big deal. I'm saying I felt nothing. I would get more of a feeling from having a piece of bubble gum than from this. Do you know, is it that way? It just doesn't work for some people?
It depends so much on the milligram, if it's standardized, if the active constituents that are known to have whatever desired effect, if those are really in there at a high enough amount. Everyone's metabolism is different. So like me, so many things that I sell and that I know work for other people and customers and stuff, they don't do shit for me. Or I have to take like 6 times the amount to have any, effect. And I think it's because my metabolism is so fast. It's just, that's what I mean. Like everyone is so different. And that's why for like any one thing in the natural world, there's always something else to try if that one thing doesn't work that's comparable.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But the other thing with the coffee,
the mushroom coffee.
Yeah. So I know Four Sigmatic, is that what?
That's the one my wife's she's tried a bunch of them, but I think the Four Sigmatic one is maybe the one she likes.
Yeah. So because there's another.
And also I heard a podcast of the Four Sigmatic people too. I try to learn about all these things. Yeah.
Yeah. So Four Sigmatic they're an awesome company. I actually kind of I sell them wholesale too, but I work with them and their stuff is amazing. There's another company called Host Defense that makes mushroom supplements and powders and stuff. And their founder and main formulator is the #1 most popular mycologist in the world, I think right now, Paul Stamets. And I actually have an interview on my channel with one of the educators of Host Defense, and we talk about mushrooms. It's really interesting. But so they make a powder that is a higher, the milligrams of the mushrooms in it are higher, and they're a little more enzymatically active than 4-Sig. So you could just add that to your coffee so you get the right amount that would work to have the same benefit of what 4-Sigmatic is formulated to do.
Oh.
So that's always an option too.
I suppose I'm gonna have to read more about it and learn more about it.
Yeah. And I'll send you a couple links you can look at.
Yeah, I would appreciate it, and I would look at them. During COVID, I spent a lot of time kind of learning about basically nutrition at large. I even did one of those on the audio books thing. I took a course called Nutrition, but there again, you just get the conflicting opinions, and it gets confusing.
Yeah. Absolutely, it is. Yeah, well, do the Descendants have anything like coming out that you want to share on for the new year?
Well, we just released a new album called Ninth and Walnut.
Yeah.
And so that's what's right now. And we're working on new songs. In fact, that's what I was doing today. I'm going to be mixing some of that. But so we've got a lot of new songs too we're working on. And yeah.
Cool.
We just kind of keep on trucking. We kind of go at our own pace.
It works. The pace is good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bill, thank you. This has been a super fun chat. And I liked nerding out on supplements with you and hearing all the things that you do. So thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been a good learning opportunity for me, and also a nice chat. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope people can tolerate my babbling. And when I do sort of interviews or whatever, I quit sort of answering the questions. They ask me what they're going to ask, and then I just sort of babble. I don't know. It seems to feel better. It seems to feel like not staged or not,
Yeah. Yeah. More natural.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day.
Okay, you too. See ya.